Hey guys, Mr. Lloyd here, going to work with you today on May 12th, the day where it's snowing outside for some reason. Grr. Anyhow, today let's work on this page. It says 8-6 class activity, same median, different mean. Well, today on this page we're going to be looking at data sets here that are symmetrical, and then data sets where we change the distribution of data here. So we are shifting our numbers sometimes to the right, sometimes to the left. And we're doing some comparing and contrasting. As you can see here, today's work does take up a fair amount of space as you're working in the margins. You might, if your handwriting isn't as small as mine, you might find it useful to grab your own piece of notebook paper to do some of these calculations. But I do my best to keep it on the paper just to make this process a little simpler. So let's get right into it. The first thing we want to always do is read the heading, and it says, compare these two dot plots. Two data values in the symmetric plot A have been shifted to the right. And so if we look at plot A, of course, we see this nice symmetrical data set. It makes a nice triangle as I trace it around with my cursor here. And what they're telling me is two data values in the symmetric plot A have been shifted to the right. Let's see if you can find them. Let's see, there's one at 13, one at 13, two at 14, two at 14. Here I went from 4 at 15 to only 3 at 15, so that means one of the 15s got shifted. Where could it have been shifted? Maybe over to 19. And then here I had 2 at 16, now I only have 1 at 16. Maybe that 1 at 16 went over to 18. So when they say shifted, it means we have the same number of dots. We just moved where they are distributed or where they lay out on where they correspond with the data. Okay, so we've done that little compare and contrast. Now let's look at problem 13. Calculate the mean and median of plot C. So plot C, I did my work up here at the top part of the page. Plot C, my first thing I want to do when I'm trying to find the median is list my values from smallest to largest. So here they are, 13. There's one dot at 13, so I write 13 once. There are two dots at 14, so I write 2 for 14, comma 14. 3 at 15, so 15, comma 15, comma 15. 1 at 16, 1 at 17, 1 at 18, and 1 at 19. So there you have it. I've listed them from smallest to largest. Remember, the median, that's the easy one. We're just looking for the middle value. And in this case, it's two middle values, which is 15. So 15 plus 15 is 30. 30 divided by 2 is 15. We knew that. The median is 15. So there we have it. I wrote it down right there. Okay, that part's pretty easy. Calculating the mean is also a fairly simple process. In this case, there are 10 total numbers. We just have to add them up. I'd recommend just grabbing a calculator, adding these up. To write our expression, though, we always write it inside parentheses, adding all your values up. So 13 plus 14 plus 14 plus 15 plus 15 plus 15 plus 16 plus 17 plus 18 plus 19. When I add all those up, oh, sorry, let me stop there. Close parentheses, divide by 10. When I add all these up, I get a total of 156. I still have to divide by 10. 156 divided by 10 is 15.6. So my mean is 15.6. Okay, 14 asks, how did the shift of the dots to the right, as shown in plot C, affect the mean and median of plot A? Well, once again, the median remained the same, so it didn't change the median at all. But the mean increased. We went from 15 to 15.6. We know that 15.6 is larger than 15, so it increased a bit. Okay, and that's all we have to write. We just are writing the trend or the behavior, if you will, that we see. Why does a shift to the right increase the mean? Now we have to think about this a little bit. Well, if I moved one of my values of 15 over to 19, I increased that value, right? And if I moved one of my values at 16 over to 18, I also increased the value there. So let's see if I can turn this into a sentence. By shifting the dots to the right, you increase the value. The increased values in turn increase the mean. In other words, the mean is comprised of the data. It's made up of all these pieces of data. If the data increases, then the mean will increase. Makes sense, right? Pretty straightforward there. Okay. Here we're going to compare plot A versus plot D. In this case, we start out with a nice symmetrical data set in plot A once again, but in this case, you'll notice we shifted our data to the left. So we took one of our 15s, maybe we moved it over to 11. We took one of our 14s, maybe we moved it over to 12. Okay, so we shifted to the left. When you're shifting numbers to the left on this number line, you are going down. You are decreasing value. Okay. How did the shift in the dots to the left, as is shown in plot B, affect the mean and the median of plot A? Oh, I'm sorry, I skipped the calculating the mean and median. So mean and median are calculated right up here for plot D. Plot D, I just list my values from my data set, 11, 12, 13, 14, and so on. I list them all in order from smallest to largest, and I find the middle value, which is 15. That's my median. I don't have to do anything else. That's all I have to do. Write it down just like that. Mean is where I have to do a little calculating. 11 plus 12 plus 13. So we're adding them all up, as we can see inside parentheses. We're dividing by 10 because there are 10 total values. Okay, so we add them all up. We get 144. 144 divided by 10 equals 14.4. So my mean, I write here, the box provided 14.4. Okay, so how did the shift of the dots affect the mean and the median of plot A? Excuse me, the mean, yes, affect the mean and median of plot A, that's right. Well, let's see. I went from 15 to 14.4 for my means, and my medians remain the same. So I can write the median remain the same, but the mean decrease in value. Why does a shift to the left decrease the value? Well, as I went from values at 15 to value at 11, my values decreased. And since the mean is made up of the data set, if the data set decreases in value, then the mean will decrease in value. So in other words, as we are looking at data in different data sets, we can take a quick look at this line of symmetry here and have a quick understanding that the line of symmetry is at 15 and it's the median. But as we look at data that isn't that nice and neat, we can't always make that quick glance and understand exactly what the mean and median are. Sometimes we have to calculate these. Okay, that's all the time we're going to have for today's video. Thank you for watching. Please keep your questions coming through Google Classroom comments, through YouTube comments, through our through text, through our Remind app, through email, phone call, lots of different ways to get in touch. Please ask questions if you're struggling. We'll keep working on mean